Welcome to an incredible journey with internationally renowned lawyer of attraction, Paula Kidd Casey. Applying the skills gained over 40 years of practicing law, Paula uses facts, logic, and science to prove the validity of the law of attraction. Join Paula each week as she explores unique concepts, allowing you to rediscover the wisdom of the ancient masters, all while weaving in the science that proves magic really does happen. If you yearn for a life change or want to rediscover your passion, then share the path with Paula and begin to love your journey every step of the way.
Hi, this is Paula Kidd Casey, and welcome to the Law of Attraction Radio Network. I will be the host for the next hour of my show, The Law of Attraction, and welcome. If this is your first time here, we're so excited, yay! I do have my other shows archived in the Law of Attraction Radio Network, or also my YouTube channel. So if you haven't been here before, there are some other lessons that might be valuable to you. And if you have been here before, double yay, welcome back. I love teaching this stuff. I love teaching the law of attraction, and I love teaching the law of vibration. You know, the natural laws of the universe are proven by science. The law of vibration is a primary law of the universe. It says that everything vibrates at a subatomic level. And the law of attraction says that whatever we are vibrating at, that's what we're attracting more of. So like attracts like, and we just need to learn to decide what emotions that we want to choose and what level we want to vibrate at. We can learn to change our frequency. One of my favorite sayings is, what you are searching for is searching for you. And what I am searching for are people that would like to go on this journey of self-discovery with me. And I hope what you are searching for is to get some more information that might help you take your life to the next level. I love to teach this stuff. The Buddha says, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And I want everybody to know that everybody's students and everybody's also teachers. So whatever you might learn from this information, I hope that you would share it with other people. One of my mentors has always said, Bob Proctor has always says that he has a license to brag about all this information that he teaches, because none of this is his information. And I feel like I have that same license, because the information I share with you is not mine. It's from ancient masters, it's from contemporary teachers, it's from science. So I'm thrilled to be able to be here to share this with you. I was going to talk to you this week about setting our dreams and setting our goals, because when I teach my classes, that's obviously one of the first things that we're going to be talking about. And I love words, and I love to wordsmith. And so I looked up what synonyms for dreams were, so I could talk about that when we get going. And they are nightmare, hallucination, illusion, and mirage. And I thought, well, those are kind of some weird concepts to be talking about, because that's not really where I kind of wanted to go with this. And so I started realizing that in all the classes that I have taught for the last, I think, 7 years, that one of the hardest parts for my students to do is they actually to set dreams and to set goals. You know, when we start talking about this, you know, they won't make eye contact with you, or they'll look up at the ceiling, or they get their smartphones out and they start playing solitaire. And it's for a number of reasons. Number one, they've never been told to use their imagination and to be able to dream. And number two, remember we talked last time about our belief system. If you don't believe you can have it, it limits the kind of dreaming that you can actually do to get to the next level. And when they did set goals, I noticed that they set small goals. They set achievable goals, and that's okay. I mean, that's great to do that. And they did that because those are the ones that they thought that they knew how to actually carry forward. And there are 3 different kinds of goals that I want to talk to you about today. There's the A-type goal, and that's the type of goal that the vast majority of us know how to do and do every day. You know, we know how to get up out of bed, and our goal is to get to work, or we know that we need to stop by the store and get food so we can feed the kiddos. You know, we got small goals and we know how to accomplish them, and we do them on a daily basis, and that's great. There are B-type goals, and those are the type of goals that you know how to do, and you know you probably need to do them, but you don't usually do them. And some examples of those are, let's say that you want to change careers, or you want to go back to school. You want to do something different with your life. Well, you know how to enroll in college or in a trade school, or to take a course. You know how to do that. You know, you get on the internet, you find out who you contact, or you go out and you talk to the registrar's office and you enroll and you look for student loans, and and sooner or later you're going to show up in class. You know how to do a B-type goal. You don't necessarily do them, but you know how to do them. And those are great too, but those are only goals that you're going sideways when you're doing those goals. You aren't growing. And the purpose of a goal is really to grow. Remember, we've talked about that the universe is either expanding or contracting, and we need to learn to expand. And when we set goals, the B-type goals, or what happens is we use our present logic and our present belief system and our present set of facts to try to get to that goal, to solve the problem, to take our lives to the next level. And we're only using the information that we already have. We talked about last time that our belief system are just a set of thoughts that we keep thinking. They're not necessarily true. But when we think we have to solve the solution, that we have to figure out how to obtain these goals, that is the foundation that we're using, right? Because that's all we know. I want us to start talking about C-type goals. These are goals so big that you have no idea how you're going to achieve them. Because the cool thing is when you have a C-type goal, you kind of have to let go of how you're going to obtain it. You have to get it in your mind and internalize it in your subconscious mind. But you have got to let go of the paradigms. Paradigms are the conditioning that's in our subconscious mind. And you are not going to be in control of how these dreams come about. You're going to trust that the universe does. And you need to set up something so big that you don't know what the next step is. And the reason you want to do that is because once you kind of believe, let go, and let the universe kind of take over, once we've learned to internalize these new dreams, here's what happens. Things happen that you would never have thought of. Coincidences show up that are like magic. You've got serendipities that show up that take your breath away. And these are things you could have never figured out how to get to that next level. And the reason this works, when you set these C-type goals and learn to internalize that new exciting feeling that you're going to feel when you get to those C-type goals, is because of our conscious mind. Our conscious mind and our subconscious mind are amazing. I'm going to go in a lot more detail on those in some later shows. But today, to give you some groundwork, our conscious mind controls what we do 5% of our day. And that is our intellectual mind. That is the mind that can either accept or reject what's put in it. This is when you go to school and you're studying for a test and you cram and you learn it and you have the test the next day and you take the test, and then a week from Thursday you can't remember anything that's in it. All those things reside in your conscious mind, and it controls what you do 5% of your day. But our subconscious mind, it's our autopilot. It's what we do, what controls our lives 95% of our day. And our subconscious mind is our conditioned mind. It's our emotional mind. It's what has been programmed into us since we were born. It's a set of paradigms. Paradigms are just a set of habits that we continue to do. And this subconscious mind controls what we do 95% of our day. That's why when we get to work sometimes, we don't even know that we've been driving because our subconscious mind kind of takes over. It controls what we do 95% of our day. And we cannot think that we can use willpower and use the 5% conscious mind to change anything in our lives. We cannot change the results in our lives by changing our behavior. That is why when you go on a diet, it never works, because you haven't changed your subconscious mind. Well, we're going to learn that when you internalize a new emotion and you do it, constant spaced repetition of this new emotion, we start changing this subconscious mind. And once we start doing that, then you're on autopilot with what you have chosen to be on autopilot with, and things get so much easier. Once you start changing your subconscious mind, And we talked about this last time. There's two ways. There's an intense emotional impact, something extremely unusual happens and it changes your belief system. Or we decide that we want to internalize a new belief system, and with constant spaced repetition of this new belief system, we can change our subconscious mind. And when we start doing that, our subconscious mind starts showing us new things. Science says there's about 4 billion bits of information available in our environment every second, but we can't access all those. There are microwaves and there are radio waves, and there are things that we can't access. Our brains can access about 2,000 bits of information a second. And what it does, it picks out about 50 bits of information per second, and it shows it to you, and those 50 bits of information that it picks out are based on your current belief system, based on your current paradigms and your current conditioning. So if you have been conditioned to lack and scarcity, your subconscious mind, and it works because it wants to keep this program running. It doesn't necessarily know if it's a good program or a bad program. It will only feed you things that go along with your conditioned mind, which is there's lack and scarcity. When you start thinking of this big, huge seagull, I always love that, and turn it over to the universe and start feeling the feelings you're going to feel when you get there, you start changing your subconscious mind. And when you do, your subconscious mind starts showing you 50 different bits of information that have always been there. You know, there's 2,000 bits of information available. It starts showing you 50 bits of different information that have always been there, that are now going to actually help you get your dreams. And then you start saying, wow, that's a coincidence, that was there. Or what a serendipity that happened. And it's because it's always been there. You have not allowed yourself, your subconscious mind is only showing you what you're programmed for. When we learn to reprogram our subconscious mind and start thinking abundance and start thinking success and start thinking these things are possible, your subconscious mind starts showing these amazing new things. And we're going to learn how to change our paradigm. So I just want you to think about how cool would this be if this stuff is true? And let me tell you, it's true. It's been proven by science. It's been around for 50, 60 years. There's lots. I've got a great reading list that's on my website, lawyoforattraction.com. If you go to the resource section and look under, I've got a great list of my favorite books that are there. If this stuff is true and you decide you want to believe something different and you start internalizing it, and then you have enough faith in the universe to turn this over to the universe, to turn it over to God and Source, and let them start showing you the things that are always there, but now that serve your new set of conditioning that you choose, your new subconscious mind. And I want to share with you what's happened to me in the last year when I decided to do this, because this is the secret ingredient to this recipe that everybody is lots of people are telling us on what to do. As you know, if you've listened to my prior ones, my prior programs, I've been teaching this since like 2011. I'm taught 2 or 3 different programs. I love it. I love my students, but I have wanted to transition from practicing law full-time to doing this full-time. And for 7 years, for 6 years at least, because I started doing this differently a year ago, I had all these plans, and I would plan how to do it, and I would plan how to get more students, I would plan how to make more money, and I would plan how to transition out of the law and to do this. And what was I doing? I was doing my B-type goals. I was using my own set of facts and belief system and logic, and I am a control freak. And I was trying to control everything. How can I make this happen? How can I make this happen? If I try really hard, if I work really hard, I'll make this happen. And you know what? I was getting a little farther down the road, and my students loved it, and they kept taking my class over and over again, but I didn't get a lot more students, and I wasn't figuring out how to take this to the next level. And about a year ago, I said, okay, here you go, universe, I'm done. You tell me how to do it. You know, I've written a book. At that point in time, I was arguing with the publisher about, you know, what the front of it looked like, and if I had to get permission from people to use quotes. I mean, they're telling me I had to get permission to use quotes from the Bible. I said, Jesus and I are really good friends. He said, I can use his quotes. But so I'm arguing, and practicing law was driving me crazy. And I said, okay, I'm done. Universe, here, you take over. And all I'm going to do, because this is one of the things I teach, but I'm not necessarily sure I did it or experienced this, I'm just going to be as happy in each moment as I possibly can. I'm going to reach for a better feeling thought. I am going to trust that everything's going to come the way it's supposed to come. And I'm going to do everything possible in the current present moment to feel better, to get my frequency on a higher level, like we talked about the law of vibration. I started listening to Abraham Hicks, who I love. If you guys don't know that, look it up on YouTube. All day long, I would read the books that made me feel good. I would listen to beautiful music. I would go outside. I love to be outside. I would I met so many wonderful people that have taken these programs with me and are consultants, and I would talk to them on an ongoing basis. And I quit worrying about the cursed hows. I quit worrying about how I was going to do it. And I reached for a better feeling thought. And what I did was I let it go. I didn't try to control it. I didn't try to have my ego control it. And let me tell you what has happened since October of last year. I wanted to get healthy, wanted to lose weight, wanted to do this full time, wanted my book to come out, wanted to transition from practicing law to doing this full time, but needing an abundance in my bank account to make sure that I could do that, and avenues that I could take this business to the next level. When I started doing what I just told you to, is reach for a better feeling thought, know that the universe is going to show me the way, and quit and get out of my way and quit being the one that thought was in control. I can't even begin to tell you the synchronicities and the coincidences that happen. So since that point in time, I've lost 70 pounds. My book came out. I was able to transition from practicing law to doing this full time with an abundance in my bank account. I mean, it's just unreal how that happened. I was asked to be on Jules's radio show out of the blue. And then 3 or 4 weeks ago, she asked me to host a radio show to get this message out to everybody. There's no way I could have planned this. And I'm a planner and I'm a controller. There's no way I could have done it. But I just said, I'm going to get my frequency up and I'm going to trust the universe. And that's what I want us to figure out if we can do together. And I know we can. I think I've told you before, I love to meditate. And if you don't have a meditation program going on, I would urge you to do that. I love Oprah and Deepak's 21-day meditation program thing. They have a whole bunch of different ones. Their Desire and Destiny is my favorite. And I was listening to, I think it was day 16 yesterday, and it was Bliss Be My Guide. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. We're going to talk about starting to gel in our heads what it is that we want. We already know what we want. We've been putting what we want into that vortex, that box of our desires since we were little. We're afraid to let ourselves go and get those amazing dreams. We don't think we're worthy. We think we have to work harder. We don't know how to do it. I'm here to tell you that all you have to do is get in this frequency and trust in the universe. One of the things they said in my morning meditation when I was writing this is Oprah, she quoted Kevin Cashman, and I didn't know who that was, so I looked it up. He's a CEO of some big time company. And he says, purpose is spirit seeking expression. Don't you just love that? Purpose is spirit seeking expression. It's our spirit that we've always had. It just wants to get out and play. And we keep beating it down. We have this purpose, and it's our spirit seeking expression. So going on to quote some of the things that were in this meditation, because I try very hard to make sure that I contribute to the appropriate person, the quotes that I'm using. Living our destiny means in each moment we're living our destiny. The purpose of life is expansion of happiness. We have to identify those things that make us grow. And we have to identify the things that bring joy into our lives. We're always on this journey to discover this. We never get there. You know, we never get it wrong and we never get it done because we're always on this journey. And when you can get on this journey of happiness and faith and belief that the universe is going to do it, I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, magic happens. They go on to say that alignment with creativity, alignment with your higher self, alignment with this joy, it creates ripples of good extensions to everyone around us. And I am reading 2 books right now by Gregg Braden. One is The Isaiah Effect, and the other one is Human by Design. And I can't remember which book this came out of, but he was talking about how that we're just vibrations of energy. We're just pockets of energy vibrating, and we think we stop at where our skin is, right? We think that's the end of our body. But there's so much science out there that shows we have this electromagnetic heartbeats and currents that leave our body, that they can prove that this energy that goes out of our body, and we don't stop just right here where our skin is. This is not just us, just because this is our body. And that he says that when we put out any emotion, it creates this ripple in this energy field. We're all just these energy pockets on this energy field. When we put out energy, it creates a ripple. It's like throwing a pebble into a pond. We have no idea how far out this ripple is going to go. So just deciding to get happier and changing that frequency and staying in the moment and having joy in the moment can change everything, because this ripple effect goes out. They go on to say that the essential purpose is always with us and is designed to be relevant in our lives. It's a journey that we're always on. So maybe the true purpose, because remember, purpose is spirit seeking expression. The true purpose is what we can do in the moment, right now. The true purpose is to get as much bliss and joy as we possibly can. So if you go to my website and you look at the 7-day challenge, it's free, it's fun, and it's the magic of intention. Every day I tell you to write something different on the palm of your hand, my Palm Pilot, so that you can keep that word top of mind and hopefully do some of the exercises. And one is leaving everyone with the impression of increase. That comes from Wallace Wattles' books, The Science of Getting Rich. And if you haven't read it, it's a little book and it's amazing. It's actually the book that Rhonda Burns read that got her on this journey on The Secret and getting this information out to all of us. But leaving everyone with the impression of increase. In the moment, what could you do to make someone feel better? And I will guarantee you it will make you feel better. You know, having joy in the action, maybe it inspires you to take action. I am not telling you not to take action. I'm telling you to take inspired action. You're going to know what actions you're supposed to take when you're in the joyful frequency. And it's so much easier than trying to take control of it yourself. And it's like I said before, it's like, sludging through mud to get through that. Maybe being joyful in the moment means you're listening to something beautiful on the radio, or, that you decided you want to apply for your passport because you want to travel, or you start looking at trips, maybe it's going outside. I'm reading this book. It's called The Secret Life of Trees. Oh my God, I love it. We're going to talk about that on another show, but, just do something in the moment that's going to make you feel better. Just ask yourself, what is your destiny today? You're going to get a big dream, a big goal of where you're going to want to be down the road. But today, what can you do to put yourself in that joyful place? And you're going to observe the clues that the universe leaves for you. So how beautiful your path is going to be. You're going to love your journey. That's kind of the theme of my show, is you're going to love your journey. Because if you're happy all the time, you're happy. Isn't that the point of the journey? So Joseph Campbell, we talked about him before. He says, follow your bliss and the universe will show you doors where once there were only walls. Follow your bliss and the universe will show you doors where once there were only walls. Okay, so what does that relate to? That relates to that subconscious mind That once you start changing that subconscious mind, once it starts vibrating at a different level, it's on a higher frequency, guess what? It starts showing you 50 different bits of information that were already there. It starts showing you the doors that were already there. You were just looking at the wall. It's going to say, okay, look over here, 45 degrees. You're going to look at the door. That's what Joseph Campbell says. Follow your bliss. Internalize this bliss. Internalize this joy. And the universe is going to show you doors where once there were only walls. So although I wanted to talk about goals today, and we're talking about them to some degree, what I want to do, instead of this straining of trying to discover or define or describe your goals, and I tell you, all my students looked like they were constipated when I was making them do this lesson. It was really hard for them. I just want to say to you, let's just say this week, bliss be my guide. Bliss be my guide. What makes you happy right now? Right now, what could you do that would make you have a better feeling thought? A daily practice of mine, and that I would encourage, once again, I don't like to tell anybody what to do because I want you to be more than I want you to do, because being happy is going to get us, and being grateful and being in a high vibration is going to get us, a lot more bang from our buck than gritting our teeth and gritting our fists and trying to sludge through that mud. But a daily practice that I tell people to do, and that it makes such a big difference, is to take 5 or 10 minutes in the morning or at night, and I would tell you to do it at night, is to write out 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for. Write in cursive, because writing in cursive actually engages a very creative part of the brain, and somehow something else is talking to you when you're writing in cursive, because it takes you longer to write, and I'm not sure why, but it's amazing when you write in cursive. And write 5 or 10 things that you're grateful for. And here's the rule, they have to be different every night. So if you do it at night, what you do is you spend your entire time all day long looking for different things to be thankful for. Because after, 4 or 5 or 6 days, you've gone through all the normal things to be thankful for. Your kids, your house, the electricity, you got hair, you got teeth. You've gone through the normal things. So what happens is all day long, you're looking at things to be grateful for so that you can write them down at night. And guess what? What you are seeking is seeking you. You find more things. What you put your attention to grows. You find more things to be thankful for. It's just magical. So be grateful for what you already have. But here's another amazing part to this. If you can be grateful for what you don't have yet, but you're going to put it in present tense, you're going to be thankful to God. Your prayer is going to be a thanksgiving of something that hasn't happened yet, but that down deep it's going to happen. You believe it, you have faith in it, and you're vibrating that's already happened. That takes your prayer, your feeling is the prayer, to the next level. I'd like to share with you an example that amazed me. I was reading Rhonda Byrne's book, The Magic. My son, who at the time was a senior in high school, and I love my kids. I tell my husband I love him to the moon and back, but I love my kids to the end of the known universe and back. And I adore my kids. And my youngest one, Connor, he struggled in school. Every day for 12 years, it was a struggle to get him to go to school. He had a lot of learning difficulties and differences. And so it was our senior year in high school. Oh my God, I was so excited. It was March in our senior year in high school, and he was going to graduate from high school. And I was so excited. And he was also running around with some people that we didn't think were probably the best choices. And we were putting some rules on him that he was not necessarily happy with. And sometime in the middle of March, he left. He ran away from home, and he had a car, but he was gone. And this was back before you had iPhones or smartphones that you could track things. But we had a teenage boy. We were pretty smart. We'd already put a GPS on his car underneath, the car, so we knew where he was before he actually ran away. So we always knew where he was, and wherever we knew that he'd settled for the night, we'd see that he'd settled for the night, and my husband would go over and make sure his car was there. And so we kind of always knew where he was, but he wouldn't come home, and he wouldn't return his phone calls, and he wasn't going to school, and he wasn't doing his homework, and he wasn't staying up with it. And I mean, he was gone. And you know, we would, when we knew he was somewhere, we would go leave like sacks of groceries on the front porch, you know, because when I love unconditionally. So I'm going to make sure everybody's taken care of. But I started writing, because this is what Rhonda Byrne said. I started writing my thankfulness, my blessings. I started writing what I wanted in the present tense. And I wrote, I am so grateful that Connor came home. I am so grateful that Connor's safe. I'm so grateful that Connor went back to school, that he could catch up, and that he would graduate. And I also said, I'm so thankful that Connor decided to walk and get his diploma, because he never wanted to put his cap and gown on. He never wanted to walk across the stage, you know. And I wrote this, and I wrote this, and I wrote this. And about 3 weeks later, he shows up on a Friday and says, Mom, can I come home? Yes, you can come home. And, you know, it was a great learning experience. You know, he was couch surfing. He slept in his car. I mean, he decided on his own to come home. He went back to school. He caught up with school on his own. He graduated. Woo! And he actually walked across the stage and got his diploma. Okay, so everything that I had said I was thankful for happened. And I said it so sincerely. And it was a present prayer that, thank you that this happened. So about a year later, I'm going through my journals, and I find my thank you journal, and I'm looking through it, and I'm reading it, and I go, oh God, you know. So when I'm reading it, I think, I was writing this at the time that it happened, but I realized it was like 2 months before it happened. What I wrote down in my gratitude journal turned out to be happening 100% of the time. This stuff is magic. Like my husband says, this shit works. So here's another exercise that you might want to do. Once again, I'm just suggesting. If you're in a situation that is conflictual, or that you feel negative about, that you're not happy with, and you're telling me, yeah, sure, I'm supposed to get happy, but I can't get happy because I'm in this situation. We're going to use the law of polarity again, and we're going to decide what we don't want, and then we're going to decide what we do want. And we're going to figure out what would make us feel better in that situation. And one of the ways we can do that is another Gregg Braden, and you know I love him, and I think I know this is in Human by Design. He talks about coherence, that our brain and our heart are connected, and we can make it more connected. And the way we do that is we're going to put attention to our heart, put our hand over our heart, put our attention to our heart, take a big deep breath so our body knows that we're not fearful, that we are in a attitude of acceptance, and then ask a very simple question about how can I make the situation better, and then be quiet. Because if you're like me, I want my little brain to go and answer the question. Just be quiet and listen to your higher self. And I did this. I didn't necessarily know it was the coherence thing, but I did. I said, okay, practicing law is driving me crazy. So what can we do to make it not as conflictual? Well, the courtroom in and of itself, that system is competitive. It is win-lose. It is, I'm going to get the better deal, and I'm going to make sure that the judge understands I'm supposed to get the better deal. So it's very conflictual. And it's not that I could really have changed that, although I'm very creative and I tried very hard to get everything settled before we had to actually go in a courtroom. But there were times it was not settled, and my creativity did not make the other side do what I wanted them to do. So I decided 3 things. One of my conflicts was with the other attorneys, because some of them I could deal with and some of them I couldn't deal with. Some of them wouldn't do what I told them to do. Some of them, I didn't think were being reasonable. And so what I decided was to send thank you notes to them when I got done with the case. And I would say, thank you for your professionalism and thank you for working with me on this case. And I look forward to working with you again. I am telling you, the next time I had them, they were like a different person. And why was that? Because I already thanked the universe that this was going to happen. And I put this out there to them that you're professional and that you're going to work with me next time. And guess what? They were a lot more professional and they worked with me the next time. So that was one of the things I did to get rid of that conflict. And then I had another conflict with my clients because they wouldn't necessarily do what I would tell them to do. See, if everybody would just do what I told them to do, it would be so much better. But they're paying me a lot of money to give them advice, and I would get real frustrated with them if they wouldn't do some of the very basic things that would have helped their situation. And I would yell at them. So what I decided to do was I started hugging them. I would hug them when they would come in the room. I would hug them when they left. I would make sure that we had eye contact through the whole thing, and I would listen to them. And I would send this good energy out to them. And guess what? All of a sudden they started paying attention to me. They felt like I was paying attention to them, and they started doing what I told them to do. And the third thing was I used to yell at people. I know you don't believe that, but I did. And so instead of yelling, I replaced that with, well, bless your heart. Maybe we could do it this way. Now, I've been told that if you're from the South, bless your heart's not a nice thing to say. But up here in Kansas, it really diffused the situation. Instead of yelling, I'd say, well, bless your heart. That's one way to think about it. Maybe we could think about it that way. Those things made such a difference in my life because you know what? You can't get there from here. If you are unhappy here, you can't get any happier. You have to make peace with where you are. And one of the ways you can do that is to quiet your mind, get into this coherent state, ask your higher self what you can do to help these conflicts. The more we are thankful, the more you reach for a better feeling thought, that is where the magic begins. And we're going to go general right now when we're talking about setting our goals and our dreams. We're going to go general. In future lessons and programs, I want to talk a lot more about helping you crystallize what you want. But right now, I just want us to go general. That you want to have more abundance. You want to have more love in your life. You want to have more peace of mind. So here's some of the things I tell my students in my programs. So I want you to start exploring a specific result. Start thinking, because you already know this, you just haven't allowed yourself. You just need to let go of your resistance and really start kind of trying to crystallize what it is that you would like your life to be like. It doesn't have to be a profession. It's just, how do you want to feel? What do you want your life to look like? Who do you want to be with? What do you want your house to look like? What do you want your environment outside of your house to look like? Start just looking for some specific results. Start exploring those. Remember, we are limited to dream by what we believe in. We're going to have to spiral up a little bit. We're going to have to reach a little bit farther to believe a little bit more and realize that that's going to work. And then when we're up a little higher, we realize that little bit has worked and that magic has worked. And then we're going to believe a little bit more. So this spirals up. But we got to start somewhere, right? We got to have a beginning point. This is a lifelong process. Remember, you never get it done and you never get it wrong, and you never get it wrong because you never get it done, because we're going to do more, we're going to expand more, we're going to grow more. So there's 3 steps to achieving your goal. One is the goal, our desired result. And I want you to think about that this week. I want you to mull it over. I don't want you to have to sit down and look like you're constipated when you're looking for that dream. I just want you to think about it. So the second one is the journey. And the journey is the tools that I'm going to give you that help you get to that higher vibration, that I have learned from my mentors, that I have learned from all the readings I've done and from the ancient sages and the current teachers. That tools, so the journey are the tools that I'm going to give you along this journey to help you get to the next level. But then the route that you're going to take, just that's what the universe is going to show you. Because remember, for 6 years, I thought I was going to do the route. I was going to say exactly how I was going to get to that higher result. When I let go and I let the universe show me the next step. Now you got to take the next step. You can't sit on the couch. You got to take the next step. But the universe shows you the next step, and you take that step, and it shows you the next step. It's only going to show you what you're capable of doing at that point in time, you know. But you've got to have this faith that when you get to the point you need another step, you're higher up the mountain. You have a little bit more belief. It's going to show you the next step that takes you to your dreams. Follow your bliss, and if you don't know what your bliss is, at least start following the trail. Start exploring what brings you joy. I'll guarantee you it's the little things in your life. It's your everyday things that bring you joy. And you can tune into those, because being in the now, being joyful in the now, is where the magic always is. When you're saying your affirmations, when you get to that, or when you're thinking of what these amazing goals and dreams are, please add this. Thank you for whatever it is, or something better. Because I know people are going, is that enough? Well, you know, maybe that's not the right thing. Just add, thank you for this or something better. It kind of opens up the serendipities. It kind of opens up new options for you when you say this or something better. There are 3 different categories that anything anybody wants probably falls into. Free of financial concerns. You want abundance of wealth. You want freedom from having to worry about money. You want enough money to do anything that you want to do. Or you want to be excited how you spend your time. You want to find that purpose. You want to find that the thing that is supreme, the reason that you came down here. Or the third thing is relationships with positive, creative people, an abundance of your tribe. So an abundance of money or wealth, you know, being able to do what you want to do every day that you love, and being with the people that make you feel better. So those are kind of the 3 categories of what almost anything that you want is going to fit into. So those are some things for you to go over. Those are some things for you to think about this week. And so we come to the end of another lesson. I want you to realize that joy in the now is where everything is, where you live. Because the only time you can take action is in the now. The only time that you can make a decision is in the now. The only time that you can feel joy is in the now. So when you learn to be anchored to your present moment and put some of this information that I have learned from masters, that as I am a student and I am sharing with you, it will take your life to the next level. So what I would like to leave you with this week is bliss be my guide. If you could think of that all week long, what it is that would bring you bliss, what makes you happy, I think that's gonna make a huge difference in your life. And thank you for being with me on this journey. And as I always say, Ram Dass, my favorite author, we're all just walking each other home. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining Paula Kidd Casey on Lawyer of Attraction radio show. For more information about Paula programs and her book, please visit www.lawyerofattraction.com. Until next week, may you experience the magic of manifesting genuine abundance.